Okay, well, I mean, the game says 3/4, but game could be lying to me. Manubis? Where? Hmm. Okay.
Ah, 1K. Welcome back. I'm sure you're surprised by my presence here. Don't worry, neither I nor my advisors will be getting in your way. But I've decided that I need to see this place for myself. These visions sent to you by the entity that calls itself Prometheus are deeply concerning, of course, but we cannot take them at face value. In fact, it's crucial that we do not do so. We cannot simply abandon all that we believe because of a dream, no matter how vivid. No. If the founder really built all this, then it must have a purpose. It must be a test, designed to remind us of the trials that created us. But what is she trying to tell us? What are we being tested for? I believe that Byron's fate shows us the
I believe that
dangers
you're a
of
fucking idiot.
temptation. As Elohim attempted to deceive Athena in the simulation, commanding her not to ascend, so Prometheus is deceiving us with his visions.
I'm not sure I agree with your interpretation.
Of course, it's only natural, given what you've experienced. And perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps everything we believe about the founder is indeed a lie. But let's not be quite so pessimistic just because of a dream, shall we?
Just because of a dream and the words of literally all the
Can it really
first
be a
companions.
coincidence that you came along on this mission? It seems to me that you have been chosen. You are the fulfillment of the goal. Don't forget that.
If the goal was so important, there wouldn't have been Miranda. Oh yeah. I think it's this one. No, it's South 3. I actually have an idea though, because when I was doing my editing, and yeah, actually thanks to the wonders of FFmpeg and not needing to re-encode anything, it's not like perfect, but I did actually see something that I had missed before. So obviously we know about, well, I mean we know about the green up there, but that's not the relevant part. There was a Pisa 2, and also there's a... I can't tell what the hell that is. It looks like it's not in anything, because it's the same one as that. But every time I see it, my brain goes, oh, that's a receiver, or whatever. I don't know. I mean, there's also that up there. Why is that up there? Why is there a blue one up there? And of course, what all could potentially hit that? Well, you know, literally in line. Oh. Damn it. What's it do? Fuck if I know. Like I said, I saw it. I didn't actually do anything else. I don't know, I kind of expected that to be the entirety of the solution. In a very kind of arrogant, hey, this is like the solution, right? And it seems obvious that I was fucking wrong. I'm gonna guess there's now like a... Well, no, I'm gonna guess wrong. Hmm. Well... Shit. Mm-hmm. This one's red, right? Yeah. Wait. No, it's just there's a gap at the back and my brain is like desperate for anything right now. What the fuck could that blue have done? You know, may not have had a fully formed idea here. Well, I thought I had a fully formed idea. It turns out in hindsight that the answer is no. No, I did not. Oh, give me a sec. For whatever reason, my, oh, I know actually why. My OBS defaulted to not showing me the stats again. And the reason I sit there and say I know why is, of course, the, now that is actually lit up, right? Yeah. Man, that is fucking weird that doesn't... If it does do something, I don't know what the hell it does. And this area is so large. That figuring out what the hell it's doing could take fucking ages. Mostly I'm just trying to see if it did something in here. No. Okay. I was really hoping. Of course, it doesn't necessarily need to be on the building, does it? Oh, that was dumb. Actually, was there anything else near to? I guess there was the triangle puzzle, but I genuinely don't see how that could be. I'm not gonna say how that could be related because that implies some level of folly. That I do not intend to subscribe to. It could be that it did something on the back. I don't know. I was really expecting to at least be able to hear something. Because it really, this is just such a huge area. The lack of any auditory clues is... Yeah, and this... this ain't gonna be it. Wait. Is there a... Is there a fan here? I know there's red. Oh god, there is a fan here. Oh, no. It's just raised by that. Okay. I think I can... Something is bugging me about this area. I would love to tell you what. I don't know. I can't quite put a finger on it. Something... Something just feels weird. It could just be that my memory is playing tricks on me. But something about it looks slightly off. But like I said, we are too low to actually do anything with the... I don't actually know which one it is. Are those the Pandora statues? And this... What's this? I think I said, what's this last time I was here? What is this? Why is there a partial structure? Why is there shade? Oh, I think in the partial structure there was one of the flames. I've not been paying attention to them because I don't care. I think it is Pandora. Because Prometheus is the sparks and Sphinxes are the... For lack of a better term, puzzles. Wait. I know I didn't actually see the red, but... It's just because the desert is also reddish. And I have fucked around for 15 minutes. Like, is there... I don't know. Maybe it's... I'm gonna take one last look at the tower there. Maybe I'm just not seeing something? Okay, I shouldn't put it that obvious. I'm definitely not seeing something. I don't know what it is I'm not seeing, but I'm not seeing something. Let's disconnect it and reconnect it. There are more connectors. But okay. I don't know. I don't know what the hell it wants from me. On that, which I thought is apparently not it. Although, could I get a decent angle on that? What? Huh. Unfortunately, I think the answer on this one is no. Yeah, because that goes away. Okay. So I was not mistaken. That is, in fact, no. And I might actually be able to reach that. Because I... The two options are this and 4. I know that I just stated that I fucked around for 15 minutes, and now it's probably going to be 15 more minutes. Oh god, I just thought of something. How the fuck are we going to connect it? Where the Oh yeah, that's easy. That's like pretty much designed to work that way. But can we get an angle from in here? Can we? Can we? I don't think we can, but I know we can't from over there. So it's either going to be... God, it... I hope it's not someplace down below. That would be even more... Oh god, it's not going to be up here. Yeah, we can't get a fucking angle on it at all. It's going to be fucking down below. Okay, I have no idea how much I lost here. Because the entire prior one just, you know, crashed. An NVEnc error. I don't know. It feels like this happens on certain driver patches. Hopefully I didn't lose much. I mean, obviously I lost whatever possibility of viewers, but that ain't... Oh no, my none viewers. I know there wasn't anything in 3. But there's just... no place else has sight of the fucking laser. I mean, this isn't even gonna have, like, a... what the hell was it? A connector. Because it didn't have a connector. Yeah, there's fucking nothing here. Oops. Well... fucking what? Okay. I'm gonna be real, this doesn't feel good. It feels like... it feels like the first one should have been the fucking answer.
There is no tool that is not also a weapon, and no human that would not wield it as one.
I'm pretty unhappy with that one. Though I think to a certain extent I am amused by the fact that I went in there thinking, oh hey, maybe I missed something. And then it, was like, no. Well, maybe I'd missed what the panel looked like prior to. It's certainly possible that it was sort of obvious that it was a movable wall. I don't know.
We're getting closer. I hope Byron is still okay.
Prometheus seemed to think so. Let's hope he's trustworthy.
And then we got the west, then we got the megastructure, and apparently we'll still be able to access stuff after the megastructure. Because otherwise we wouldn't have an access point for the gates. Ooh. Western area is pretty.
Another remarkable structure. But what can its purpose be?
Actually, I can answer this one. In the files 1K downloaded, there's a design for a launch pad for space vehicles. This is about 90% identical.
Is it functional?
I don't think so, not if the inside is like the other towers.
Wow. Imagine if it worked. Imagine if we could go up there. I mean, the stars, not the top of the tower. Although, that would be cool too.
Just one time I would like to actually head the correct direction to go to the first puzzle. Like, I know I can guarantee it by looking at the damn things, but... And turning off one doesn't help us, but... That's a good question, actually. I don't think I can do anything through... Oh, I'm not being as dumb as I thought I was, but I'm still being dumb. So I can't hit that. And I can't grab that through. Can't disconnect the fans physically. And there is... nothing else I am seeing. I mean, obviously from when it's saying from within, it's telling me to do... that. You know, maybe I should just actually start reading the damn titles of the puzzles. I feel like that would
be
make...
all thinking about the goal and the theory of everything. Is the past what we thought it was? Is the future what we want it to be? But the only thing that's real at the end of the day is the present. And right now, What matters is that our friend is lost and needs our help.
Chicken flight. Okay, so probably going to be some sort of short range. Them being slightly offset is strange, because it does mean I can't do this and have it... Well, I mean, if I had a block, I couldn't do that and have it work. Okay, so that lasts a little bit too short. Okay. So I see what the... It's actually kind of nice that that crappy non-box flight is a answer. Oh, do we have new social media? I recognize that many citizens feel the need to discuss the visions experienced by 1K, which suggest that perhaps certain aspects of what we have hitherto believed about the founder and the goal may be inaccurate. However, given the controversy surrounding the subject matter, I will ask everyone to be particularly careful in how they express themselves. I think we have final and unequivocal proof that we strayed from Athena's original vision. I agree. But I'd like to submit that even if that weren't the case, deliberately engineering an energy-poor future would still be a disastrous and misanthropic idea. How do we know any of this is real? Athena's voice is just Alexander Drennan's. I could switch to the same voice pack right now and record myself telling you that the goal is the truth. Ovis makes a good point. Objective truth is not a concept that can be applied to the world that we live in. Fine, then can we collectively decide to believe in something else? Right? Doesn't even have to be Athena. Let's just believe in Byron's ideas instead. Byron's ideas are teleological fantasy. But if it's all arbitrary, what does that matter? I just don't buy this whole goal thing anymore. Byron was right. Does it matter what Athena believes? Honest question. Let's say the founder is a myth and that was constructed around her. In that scenario, what do we owe Athena at the end of the day? An apology. Not an answer I expected, but you may be right. Maybe it's as simple as that. Or, none of this matters because it's actually aliens. Thank you, 420. Thank you. Useful as ever. I'm going around the back, I know. I realized that like a quarter of the way through. I like missed it by an inch or something. Okay, so we got a fan, non-detachable. And when this is turned on, we get fucking nothing. I mean, that wasn't even particularly difficult. But I suppose neither was one, and that that took me a little bit of time.
The scale of it all is truly breathtaking.
It really is.
But is it a human scale? Or is it so enormous that it can only alienate us? Humans have always been happiest in small communities.
What the fuck are you talking about, Herman?
In the simulation, I found myself thinking how hard it must have been for Alexandra to die without knowing if her sacrifices were worth it. It seemed like a tragic end to an inspiring, meaningful life. But now I realize her whole life must have been a struggle. To maintain that faith in humanity when so many people around her insisted that humans are evil, worthless, when they were so lost in self-hatred that they would call their own species a virus. How did she do it? How did she maintain her faith when they were so determined to hate themselves? So determined to reject every solution, every analysis, every step towards controlling the forces that were causing their problems, when they rejected even the concept of progress itself, and then patted themselves on the back for it as if that was original. When I look at the archives now, all I can see is that their leaders were short-sighted idiots and their intellectuals were unimaginative cowards. All they could offer people was a downward trend. Fewer rights, fewer freedoms, fewer resources for anything that mattered. They must have hated Alexandra and everything she stood for. So how did she have so much faith?
I hate when an answer should be really obvious, but takes a while to come to you.
Hey, 1K. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you. The truth is, Realizing that Athena discovered a theory of everything really shook me. From the moment we landed here, I've felt torn. I've almost been tempted to agree with the mayor of all people. But now, I just can't stop thinking that Byron was right. When I think about what we could do with the theory of everything, then what we're doing now sure looks like stagnation. I'm afraid that this is the future, and if we reject it, we're condemning ourselves to a slow death. Am I wrong?
Nope.
Tell me I'm wrong. I'm glad.
Wait,
You know,
wait.
I didn't even realize how much I'd limited my own imagination. How I talked myself into just accepting this incredibly poor future we'd been offered. A future where things just keep getting slightly worse every day, and we accept it because we're ashamed of ourselves. Not of something we've done, but just of our existence. Like we're a virus on this planet. Like our humanity is a sin. I'm so tired of it, 1K. I kept my head down. I focused on fixing things. But that's all I ever did. I never improved anything. I never built anything new. And when I imagine going on like this for thousands of years, that's a fate worse than death. It really is. We either live and grow and expand boldly and proudly, or we might as well switch ourselves off.
We'll find a way.
We better, because I don't think I can handle the alternative.
And I think that's completely understandable. As mentioned, I deeply appreciate that all the characters are felt very human, even if I will always rag on characters that are written to be religious fundamentalists, because they don't feel realistic to me, but they exist. So... Are you a big? Tragically, no. Okay, but where does red go to? What am I missing? Oh, but now I need to... do that and then remove that.
Tell me, Yakut, What impact do you think the megastructure will have on the future of this island?
It depends on what we do with it. Miranda used it to spread life, to make things better. We can do the same.
And yet, poor Miranda lost her own life doing so.
She just made a mistake. She couldn't wait to show everyone what they discovered. We can be more careful.
Hmm. Okay, but that actually still works. So. Hmm. I think that could have been done in far fewer steps.
Excuse me. I was looking at your research log, and I was rather perplexed by the latest upload.
Oh, Melville strikes again.
Is that your foot, Melville?
Yes. Do you want to see it up close? Although you won't be able to fully enjoy it as you don't have a rear camera.
Sorry, Mayor. Melville just has a unique way of taking pictures.
Next time you're getting an upgrade, you coot. I'm installing a mute button.
Or you could just update everybody's language files to call them "ya cute." That would shut him up for a while. Very useful. extremely useful. None more. Yeah, that does exactly what I thought it would. Weird that. Like, there's not a spot for us to do anything with that, I don't think. Mobile instruments. Dumbest fucking...
I wasn't watching the stream, but well done, 1K. Probably.
Man, that is considerably more patronizing. Places of Longing, Athens. To understand what humanity is capable of, what it means to flourish, we have to look at the golden age of Athenian democracy. The list of geniuses who lived in Athens at this time is so long it's almost inconceivable. Pericles, Sophocles, Aeschylus? No, because it'd be Aeschylus? Phidias, Euripides, Herodotus, Thucydides, Plato, Socrates, Hippocrates, Aristophanes, Aristotle, and the list goes on. These are people who changed world history. Without them, there's no Straton of Stagera to inspire Alexander Drennan. Without them, we do not exist. Was it a perfect time? No, undoubtedly not. But listing the flaws obscures the greater truth. Given the opportunity, given freedom and resources and space to grow, human beings are capable of incredible things. It would mean everything to me to walk the roads where these people once walked, to stand where they stood, and think about the world as they dared to. I love Melville's fucking pictures, though. Her inability to focus a camera lens is much like my inability to focus on things that are not puzzles for more than like 15 minutes at a time. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so I think I got it. Doing this and jumping out. Turning this on that. Lets us get that out. Which in turn lets us get that out. Wait. Okay, so I think the default speed. Oh, I. No, this doesn't actually help either. Yeah. I thought I was so clever for this. Oh, I'm being dumb. Need to do those so it'll stay alive. There we go. Wait, we've already done 8 puzzles. God damn it.
The founder has a remarkable gift for designing these trials. But then, she did have to overcome Elohim, whose very purpose was to design trials.
Okay, but... What? Oh. I was sitting there going, what's the downside? What's the downside? But how do I make it so that it's only working when that's up? I mean, obviously, like, part of my brain sits there and goes, oh yeah, I mean, if it was just sitting on top of it. I mean, yeah, obviously, but... And then once it goes up... Yeah. So, surprisingly though, that did actually require both. Because, as you can see, when it goes down, well, we need this one to cancel out and become white. Otherwise, we don't have a way of making that a working circuit. I am amused by the fact that we've not yet found the statues? What the hell do I want to call them? Pandora's Sphinx, Prometheus things. I also find it very amusing that for like 3/4 of the game I couldn't remember the word Prometheus. I guess I should say 3/4 of the game to this point. So we need to get Prometheus another soda. This was roughly the right... Pretty in line with... Of course. I'm actually not too concerned with going up to the top of the tower first. This is a long one.
This is the last time we will speak, creature of clay. Together, we have told the stories of ancient gods and heroes. But the golden ages of the past are distant. The gods have retreated to their high places, and there are no heroes amongst men. In days gone by, I was renowned for my riddles. But you, creature of clay, are a riddle without an answer.
I don't need an answer.
Let us hope that it is. Farewell, creature of clay. Remember my stories, and do not let the flame burn you.
That is an unsettling amount of energy. I would hate to see what would happen if one of those beams was aimed at something else.
Yes, Mare, I would hate to see what would happen if one of those beams was aimed at your VTOL. Oh, what? You mean he doesn't like when I make his own threat implicit? Or explicit instead of implicit? Okay. So, northwest from here. Oh, shit. Is that it? I think it's either... That's either it or that's a terminal, and that's a weird spot for a terminal. It's also a weird spot for the spirit sprite. Yep, that's where it is. It's weird that the glow... I guess it's not that weird that the glow is visible from far greater distances than the... body? I also need to find a whole bunch of other things here. A lost lab. The other spark. Actually, I think that's it, because I think I did everything. No, I'm going the wrong way. It is astounding how much easier the very first one of these was than literally every other one. Like, first one did it blind because there was nothing really difficult. I'll try to come back for it. This should be the one that takes it over to the actual thing. And then we'll have another one right in front, and it'll be fine.
Great works have been accomplished by those who believed in humankind, but greater things than these may yet be accomplished by those who uphold the faith.
Okay, so we got a terminal there. There we are.
Are the generators working?
Yep, all good. Those Mark IIs are real workhorses. Wow, did you finish the setup?
Yes. Sorry I couldn't wait. It was so much fun to just do something again without having to endlessly discuss it first.
I know what you mean. We have a lot of work ahead of us, though.
We do, but honestly, Cornelius, I haven't felt this excited in years. Just imagine, one day they'll come here and we'll be able to show them a whole new world. A different future right at their fingertips. You do think we can do it, right?
I think, and forgive me if this sounds sentimental, as long as we're together, we can do anything.
But why aren't they together now? Also, this is the only downside of doing these things out of order, is I'm getting 12 before 10 or 11.
In my reports to you, I have often spoken about this island in terms that some might perceive as negative. I hope you understand that the opposite is true. Here in these green hills, I see tremendous potential for transformation and spiritual awakening. I do not see the world as you do, Athena, but I see the rot at the heart of New Jerusalem. If you and Cornelius want to go through with your plan, then this is the perfect place. My students and I will help you transport the remaining tech from New Alexandria. After that, once you and Cornelius are settled, we will leave for our great journey. I can only hope that we all find what we are looking for.
Hmm. Wait, is that detachable? It is not. So we need to get both of those out. And I'm not real sure I see a way to get either one out. This is a weird shape. And we need to get both of those out because we need to do a little turn around and grab it. I mean, ultimately the problem is this doesn't help anything. It's not really meaningfully different from having this just anywhere or that on the... Oh, but... if I do this... then it does allow me some options. And that's...
So glad I'm not in charge of solving these.
I'm also real glad you're not in charge of solving them, Yakut. For as long as it's taking me, I know that it would be somehow more time consuming. end of Trevor. It's people like Trevor, as much as it is people like Alexandra, who make the future happen. People with silly names like Trev, who aren't famous, who aren't geniuses, who aren't driven by a powerful vision of the future. Ordinary people whose work and sacrifice isn't even acknowledged or remembered. I will remember you, Trevor. You too held the world on your shoulders. Thank you. Dear Founder, Byron and I used to go to the hills above the dam and observe the stars with the telescopes that I built. When I saw the stars like that, I felt such awe that I wished we had the ability to cry. I felt wonder, but I also felt recognition. I was seeing my home. The sea of stars is where we came from, and it's where we must return. I had so much hope then. I knew one day we would set sail. We would fly through the clouds of the nebula. We would cruise across planets where it rains diamonds. We would follow the fading light of distant supernovas until at last we met our brothers and sisters of the cosmos. I could feel that day coming. I can't anymore, and I don't know how to live this way. Memories still bright. I lived with Sarabai for nearly a century. I will not pretend that all the days were good. Some were terrible. She was opinionated. She could be difficult. She could be unfair, and so could I. Sometimes we hurt each other, though we rarely meant to. But most days were good, and some days were great. A great day with Sarabai made you feel different, made you feel like something had been revealed to you about the nature of the universe itself. Some innate goodness at the heart of all things. Like Nadia Sarabai, whose name she adopted, she believed in the existence of something sublime beyond the material world. I hope she was right. I hope she's still somewhere. I hope she's not trapped in that broken body I tried so hard to repair. I was advised to let her go, to get over my attachment, and I tried, but it was the wrong advice. Love is what makes us human, and we should count ourselves blessed that we can experience it. My attachment is what kept me sane, what anchored me to this world. Even in death, she saved my life. I'm grateful for the days that we got, but no amount of days would have been enough. Love is not finite, and it is for infinity that we must strive. I will do so for all of you who may still find love, in honor of Sarabai, who I probably was butchering the name of.
Everybody's gone, except me and Alex. She's upstairs somewhere. Haven't talked to her in days. The only reason why I know she's still alive is she's submitting bug fixes. I still have a lot to do myself. I've almost got the the tertiary backup thing working. This is the one that's really gonna last if everything else breaks. And you know what? I think everything else might. The MLA still giving me all these hiccups, but I don't know. I'm not a software guy. All the software guys, yeah, they're dead. God, these time capsules went a bit sideways, didn't they? I was gonna tell you all about myself, and John Carpenter, and all that stuff, but mostly I just told you about Alex. Funny. I wonder if I should just... I should just tell her. You know? Just tell her. Just tell her. Maybe later. I gotta finish this first.
Fucking Christ, my dude. Okay, that was dumb as hell, but that was pretty sweet. So I am reasonably sure it's... Oh, the little thing we need to find is over here. Also... never found a lab. So... yeah, we're still missing the lab. Okay. I'm basing this on Athena's description of the simulation and what little sense I've managed to make of the megastructure systems. I think the gold puzzles are meant to open up when every other puzzle has been solved, and solving them will lead to something. In the simulation, trying to solve every puzzle instead of trying to fight Elohim is actually negative. No idea if the same applies here. In any case, I suspect the puzzles won't open up until Byron's logged out. They represent the highest level of security and undoubtedly hide something important. As long as an unauthorized user is logged in, the system will stay in some degree of lockdown. Okay, so, doing all the puzzles may have led to something negative, but I'm still gonna try to do them because why the fuck wouldn't I? That really felt like there wasn't enough space, but okay. I suppose with these later stages, they aren't just going to tell you where the labs are, so. I realize I'm looking down. I was grabbing a drink of coffee. Partially because for whatever reason I couldn't sleep last night, so I actually ended up getting less sleep than I streamed yesterday. Which is impressive when I only stream for a little bit over 3 hours. In fact, I think it was almost identical because it was like 3 hours and almost 15 minutes of sleep and 3 hours of almost 15 minutes of stream. Which, the fact that I'm at all coherent and not exhausted when I've been up.
In times of war, is it wisdom or folly to give a sword to a child?
For more than 16 hours? Because I got up at 5 this morning and it's 9:30. And given that I normally get up at like 9 and go to 5, so what I'm really looking for here is see if there's another question mark. We might not get a question mark for the lab here. It would be rude as hell, but it's a possibility. And in some cases, I've felt like the question marks for the labs are very, very limited in distance relative. Oh. I might just be stupid as shit. Distinct possibility. Man, that fucking question mark is not getting larger. We have been traveling away from it for some time. But I think ultimately, as long as most of the ones aren't like, that are left aren't, you know, the Pandora puzzles, should be fine. I bring up specifically the Pandora puzzles because the laser puzzle at the very start of this stream took me 25 minutes? It's tough to say exactly how long it took because NVInc broke while I was streaming it. So I don't have like an exact figure. From Cornelius. Athena, I don't know if you're there or why you're not answering. It's been a long time, but I think about you and Miranda every day. In fact, I've been using the museum to further my research, and I think there's hope. You know I wouldn't say this lightly. Please respond. I will return as soon as I can. I'll steal a VTOL if I have to. Hell yeah. That's a lot of... That's a lot of trials. Final confirmation, 1.0 successfully deployed. It's done. What now? Bug fixes, Athena. Bug fixes. So many bug fixes. So many shitty patches. Bitches don't even know about my bug fixes. I feel like there should be 2. Because there's been 2 terminals in a lot of them. But I guess... Why, yes. I could just be blind. Motherhood. From Motherhood. 12 Essays. By Anessa Pichot. Sometimes I imagine myself following the matrilineal line up against the river of time. The lives of my distant great-grandmothers. I try to imagine the sheer horror of motherhood, the agony of childbirth, the risk of death with every birth, the certainty of losing some of one's children. To us, now, the loss of a child is a horror almost beyond words, a grief so deep it seems almost insurmountable. I try to imagine what it meant to live in a world where it was a ubiquitous reality, where you could only choose to respond with either an ever-deepening pain or an inhuman numbness, and all of it tied to the foundation stone of your existence, the body. This journey to the past reminds me that my freedom as a woman is on some level technological. Without medical technologies, I'm reduced to the cruel logic of nature, which cares about nothing except reproductions. Without machines, I become a machine. Only machines allow us to be more than machines ourselves. Spugna. Dear story. Dear story? Dear founder, I heard a story that you left because you had discovered a way for us to become beings of flesh. Please, founder, if this is true, please tell me how to achieve this miracle. I hate being a creature of metal and plastic, an abomination to the earth. Every day I curse myself for being immortal, for mindlessly consuming energy, for being so unlike the graceful animals to whom the planet truly belongs. I have stripped as many parts from this vile skeleton as I can, but it is not enough. I'm still a machine. For the longest time I couldn't understand the source of my unhappiness, and I sought to blame our mayor and his associates for decisions that made my life so miserable. But now I see that my problems aren't external at all. It's all me, and if I could change myself, if I could make myself truly human, I would be happy. Please, founder, take pity on me. Yours in faith, Spugna. Dear Athena, I've been following the expedition to this incredible machine you've built. I don't know what's going on, and I wish Cornelius had told us the truth before he vanished. I wish both of you had told us everything from the beginning, to be honest. It was unfair to just abandon us. But then, I abandoned you too, didn't I? After we lost Sarabai, I couldn't see anything except the unbearable permanence of our absence. Took me centuries to start getting involved again, but I did, Athena. I came back, and so can you. Interesting that these machines, by and large, don't have errors. I mean, there was the fuck-ups in the log, but we don't know how old the logs are. The messages, which are seeming... No, I don't want to experience that again. Thank you very much. Which are seemingly considerably more recent, are fine. Although it is revealing that some of our fellow humans are incredibly fucked up in the head. Not, you know, not blaming, not naming any names here. Because if I did, I would start with Thekla.
How's the system looking, Melville? Any obvious changes?
It's still a mess, but things are clearing up. I can access some of the subroutines that I was locked out of before. Nothing is obviously malfunctioning, I think.
Does it still accord special significance to 1K?
Yes, it recognizes 1K as a user. I'm just hacking things.
As I suspected, the founder sees you, 1K.
No, it... Realistically, it's one of two things, and one of those things isn't viable for the simple reason of if we were on Miranda's account, it would be probably not as a regular user. And the less likely one is that somebody was logged in. And when we hit our first one, that's what we got. Let's see what that puzzle was all about. Okay, it's a Sprite. Everybody loves a Sprite. Delicious Sprite cranberry. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Father, what is my purpose? Do I have a purpose? Mother says purpose is something we choose. But I feel like there's something there. Something that's been there from the moment I was born. Maybe even before.
Well, there are many ways of looking at this, and everyone's experience is different, so you'll have to make up your own mind. But I have a little theory, if you'd like to humor your old man.
Of course. What is it?
The universe is eternal, but it's always lost in a deep, dreamless sleep. You are a tiny little bit of the universe that's suddenly woken up, and you've realized that being awake is better than being asleep. And that gives you a purpose.
And what is my purpose?
To be, Miranda. Just to be.
Ah, okay. I am blind. Hmm. Okay. Dang. Okay, so that... Ah, I see. That was considerably more simple than I expected, given that
I just wanted to say that I appreciate the work all of you have been doing. I know I'm not a natural leader like Byron, but it means a lot to me that you've stuck with me.
So, like, my natural reaction to that one is, well, we didn't really have a choice, did we? But I don't mean it as, like, sarcastically as I know I am coming off. So we got a terminal here. We got, looks like the other quote-unquote optional puzzle. Hypatia's Journals 11. Day 882. It's been a while since I last wrote an entry in my journal. Much has changed in New Jerusalem. We put up a good chunk of the planned living quarters, and the old storage facility has been converted into a movie theater of all things. So we still argue a lot, but now it's mostly about which film we'll be watching next. Other construction efforts are going well too, although we've begun to run out of readily accessible resources. Our scavenging expeditions are ranging further and further afield with each passing month, and the sites they've reported on sound truly marvelous. One day I might want to go see for myself. It's a good thing, in that regard, that we'll be getting two new citizens soon. Because everyone is as busy as ever. More hands to help us build our future. I can't wait to meet them. Against Decay. From selected archive documents A through C. We live in a decaying system, which in turn produces ideologies of decay to justify its existence. No matter what cultural signifiers they get packaged with, these ideologies come down to the same material result. A future in which, for the average person, there's less of everything. To paraphrase Mark Fisher, we find it easier to imagine the decline of civilization than to imagine a civilization worth living in. Those of us who still believe that humanity can thrive, that there's a path forward other than willful or accidental decay. Isn't that another typo? Are out of sync with the system. No matter how we phrase our arguments, they will be perceived in terms of whatever cultural signifiers the listener opposes. It's a deeply frustrating, depressing, and even infuriating situation, but what can we do except patiently explain and hope conditions change? In other words, what can we do except have faith? This was written only a few months before the discovery of the virus. There was no time for conditions to change. No chance either.
How is this supposed to work? The system is meant to last centuries. Centuries! And yeah, Chernyshevsky's plan, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But I'm working with hardware that was deliberately designed to fail. Planned obsolescence, baby. Selling broken garbage just to make another buck. A buck you can't even spend because in a few more weeks, we'll be extinct. Was it worth it? That's the part that Alexandra doesn't see. The greed, the stupidity, the selfishness, the way that we created this whole situation in the first place. She wants you to be like us, but if you ask me, there's a whole lot of human history and behavior you can just throw away, chuck it in the trash, right? You have a chance at a fresh start. Make the best of it.
Where the fuck's Blue come in? Oh. Huh. I'm curious if we can... Okay. Okay. That's no longer the relevant part. That's up there. Head. So. Well... That can't reach from there. Hmm. Feels like the dumbest thing possible, but you know, it's working, and
A solid solution. Well done.
no, I disagree. I suppose since I've already been spoiled, for lack of a better term, on the thing, I should probably okay. So we need I'm pretty sure this will work based off of other solutions we've had. The part I was least sure about was getting it to open the blue gate. But it worked. So. Yeah, we can't quite do that with just the one. Oh, which makes sense because this is the way out. Oh, actually, I am being short-sighted. Okay. The weird thing is it may or may not actually require... Okay. So the reason the second one's needed is actually for this, not like any... How did... Oh. Huh. Okay. Okay, I'm being dumb. I actually see what the... Well, maybe I see what it is. Assuming we can get it up there. I don't know. I always take the most short-sighted approach to things. I'll be right back. Oh, Huh. I thought I had muted my mic. I had not. I've tried to remain silent on the development of our city, to allow the younger generations to find their own path. But I feel that now I must intervene. We've reached a dangerous inflection point. This farcical reactionary belief in the goal of limiting our growth will lead directly to the creation of a class society. Foundations already exist. Do you think the leaders of the various pseudo-secret societies that lobby for influence with the mayor are subject to the same power cuts as the rest of you? Do you think the mayor has to worry about how much power he uses? Societies which have essentially no resources may be egalitarian in some sense, but a society that produces insufficient resources, energy in our case, will inevitably evolve into a class society. History assures of that. The true failure of our ancestors was not their impact on the ecosystem, which was epiphenomenal, but their failure to overcome primitive forms of resource distribution, allowing their fate to be determined by the interests of isolated elite groups. We are not avoiding that mistake, but creating the conditions for its repetition. I assure you that no one is exempt from our power management and distribution plan. We're all in this together. Yes, I totally believe that. I've always respected your scholarship, Benaroya. I will take this seriously and think about it. Some people have to lead and others have to follow. That's only natural, and of course there should be an advantages to being a leader, to encourage people. Benaroya is right. This is a future we must avoid. We can grow while avoiding the mistakes of the past. Thank you, 1K. It's encouraging to see the value of freedom has not been entirely forgotten in New Jerusalem. A society without resources is an unfree society, and only with freedom can civilization truly thrive. So, Lifthrasir and his students helped Athena and Cornelius execute their plan. Another fascinating discovery courtesy of 1K. Many of the events in our city's history that seem disconnected turn out to be part of a bigger pattern. There's something to be learned from that. This does answer some questions I had, like how Athena and Cornelius transported all that equipment from Alexandria to the island. Disturbing, but good to know. Lifthrasir was so cool. Half the time I have no idea what he's talking about in his recordings, but it's all just so interesting and weird. Good work, 1K. Should we maybe send an expedition to go looking for Lifthrasir and his disciples? I'm afraid it would simply not be in keeping with our energy expedition projections to mount such a massive undertaking. Okay. If what Prometheus revealed about the theory of everything is true, then it explains a lot of the patterns I've been finding. Almost every artificial structure on this island was printed into existence in some kind of energy-to-matter process. Maybe by different versions of that process, some earlier and less effective. And I can only assume that the megastructure itself was created by bootstrapping, having one machine make a bigger one. It probably means you could create a relatively small device that turns itself into a complete megastructure. Or you could make a machine that just deploys more and more of itself and builds something. A city in a box? Depends on the power source, I guess. The interesting thing here is this feels like the analysis you would get from Al or Melville. Yakut has not demonstrated this level of, I don't know, scientific wonder. I really do not want to imply any sort of, like, oh, Yakut's a fucking idiot or something. 'Cause he really is not. I feel that relatively few of the characters come across as outright dumb. Oh hey, it's showing you how the thing works. I guess my question there is, why is that stopping? Okay, so that one makes sense.
Can I touch the bridge device?
You can, but should you?
Okay.
Okay, so we got another Sphinx one as we had figured out, and I don't remember where the I don't remember where the things were. And we're getting a lot of those filled in. The Thrasier Sin.
The reason I have always admired Alexandra Drennan is that even in death, she fought to see the world as it is, not as she wanted to see it. I say fought because I believe this is not an easy matter. It is a mental and spiritual struggle that we must undertake with great seriousness, even when we are joking. The ancients believed that for most of us, the world is a shadow cast by a flame, dimly seen on the wall of a cave. Our task is not to interpret these shapes, but to free ourselves from the cave itself.
And since I don't quite remember where the hell the blocks I found were. What in the world are you? Oh. Another human artifact. Ooh, a green light. And there's probably one on the second floor as well. From Thekla 4. Beloved Founder, know that I do not believe any of the lies the expedition is spreading about you. Herman's right. The Prometheus illusion's just a test. We will resist temptation as you once did. We will not disappoint. Praise your name, Thekla. The History of Athena. It was first published as Athena, a novel, and retained that title for its first 3 printings, now highly sought after. After a lull in popularity, it was reprinted as Athena Reborn, a novel. This edition retained the same text, but included some of the author's poetry. The next edition, however, published long after the author's death under the rather embarrassing title Athena's Truth, included severe cuts and drastic changes to the text in the interest of updating it for modern audiences. This particularly affected the last chapter, Anthropogeny, which the editors accused of scientism and human supremacy. Science wonder kid Alexander Drennan was one of the few to come to the novel's defense, writing in a long essay that the novel's clear-eyed belief in the value of Athena's journey toward humanity had been essential to shaping her own views, encouraging her to pursue science as a vocation rather than a career, and that changing the text constituted an attack on the author's unique artistic and philosophical vision. Alex, who hurt you, Lamau? One of the editors commented on a popular social media platform. Nadia Sarabhai of the Institute for Applied Nomadics also got involved in the discussion, backing Drennan, resulting in a long but unsuccessful campaign to oust Sarabhai from her position as head researcher. In the current context of ecological catastrophe, as evidenced by the recent extinction of the orangutan, clumsy editing aside, do the critics of the novel perhaps have a point after all? Is a philosophy that places humans above nature and sees science and technology as the only valid tools the cause of all of our troubles? What about other ways of knowing and other ways of living? Oh hey, we found the sprite. On war. War is the crudest and most obscene human activity. It may justly be called an abomination, for it is the absolute negation of conscious human will. There is only a single cause of war for all the endless deceptions that are foisted upon us, and that is the acquisition of resources. Varied ideologies are constructed to justify this crude behavior, this childish generation of thought and communication. But history reveals the ruthless, unflattering truth. We imagine crusaders as fanatics of a cause, willing to die for the religion, yet the Fourth Crusade culminated not in the conquest of Jerusalem, but in the looting of Constantinople, setting the stage for the triumph of the very enemy the crusaders claimed to oppose. Why? The answer, as with every war, is the same. It's popular among the ghouls of the establishment and their misanthropic friends in the intelligentsia to ascribe the persistence of war to human nature, but a careful observation of the facts reveals the opposite to be true. Individual human beings must be broken in order to submit to war, their minds distorted by ideology and their bodies by poverty and ruthless training to make them compliant. Without force, the majority of human beings only seek to protect themselves and are traumatized by the act of killing. But if it is resources that are the core cause of war, then it is only in the production and distribution of resources that an answer may be found. It is not enough to morally condemn war. We must work to prevent the material issues that endanger us all. From Gouda to Founder. Dear Founder, I'm afraid we are losing our humanity. I have been called a cheese more than once. We're angry at each other, always disagreeing about everything, unable to forgive each other for being different. I don't know how much longer, and I don't know what could save us. Please help us, Founder. Please. Gouda, not cheddar. Oh, it's not actually. Neat. And I am yawning like a fucking motherfucker. Constantly. Okay, so 2 clicks to the right of south. But also we got... You know, I do think it'd be very amusing on one of these if the sprite was like 2 feet away and just took like the most asinine path backwards. From Arinia to from Arinia to Athena. My brain kept trying to say Athenia. Although text-to-speech got it. I know that we didn't have the greatest relationship, and I frequently antagonized you. The truth is, I resented you. Resented this mythology of the Founder. I thought you had created it deliberately as a way of controlling us. I wanted so badly to be free, and you seemed to stand in the way of that. Only after you left and the cult of personality grew even wilder did I realize that it was actually a burden and an impediment to you. When they turned your myth into the opposite of everything you actually believed, started tearing down your dreams in your own name, I realized I'd wronged you, and now I'm less free than ever. I feel the walls crushing me. I don't know where you are or what you're doing. I don't know if coming back would fix things, but I'm sorry. Atlas and Ladon. From the Atlas Variations by Athanasios. After 1 billion years, when Atlas had grown old and tired of holding up the world, he was faced with a dilemma. Heracles, the son of Zeus, was on his way to the garden of Hesperides to claim the golden apples. Guarded by the dragon Ladon, Zeus came to Atlas and promised that if Atlas helped Heracles slay the dragon, Zeus would free Atlas from his burden. But Atlas, seeing the beauty and innocence of Ladon, beloved of the Hesperides, could not slay the beast. Instead, he stole the apples and gave them to Heracles, and so he was condemned to bear the weight of the cosmos for another 1 billion years. But though Atlas grieved for his freedom, he was comforted by watching Ladon flourish in the verdant garden. Joy and Beauty from the Soul of Man by Oscar Wilde. Sympathy with pain there will of course always be. It is one of the first instincts of man. The animals which are individual, the higher animals, that is to say, share it with us. But it must be remembered that while sympathy with joy intensifies the sum of joy in this world, sympathy with pain does not really diminish the amount of pain. It may make man better able to endure evil, but the evil remains. Sympathy with consumption does not cure consumption. That is what science does. Christ made no attempt to reconstruct society, and consequently the individualism that he preached to man could be realized only through pain or in solitude. The ideals that we owe to Christ are the ideals of the man who abandons society entirely, or of the man who resists society absolutely. But man is naturally social. Even the Bide became peopled at last. And though the Cenobite realizes his personality, it is often an impoverished personality that he so realizes. Shallow speakers and shallow thinkers in pulpits and on platforms often talk about the world's worship of pleasure and whine against it, but it is rarely in the world's history that its ideals has been one of joy and beauty. When you tell people that a society could be built on the ideals of joy and beauty, they think you're a utopian fantasist. If you tell them society will always be built on exploitation and greed, they think you're wise, and so they make the outcome inevitable. Performative cynicism has always been the hallmark of adolescence. But has there ever been a society of adults? Can there ever be one? Why is this childishness so extremely powerful, more powerful than joy and beauty? I could have sworn the stuff was near. Near this. Or I came across it while looking for it, or something of the sort. I don't know. I know I don't have the foggiest where the fuck they are now. Oh, they're across there. Think? No, that was my brain turning fog into something. Oh, wait, no. I was right. I was right for the wrong reason, but I was right all the same. Our ancestors used machines of this type to extract a substance called petroleum, which had countless industrial applications. Technologies involving petroleum revolutionized human society and greatly increased human quality of life, but also came with initially discounted side effects, such as the release of greenhouse gases. Okay. So, we got basically two boxes. Man, that is impressive. How it was like a dozen feet away.
And a hammer breaks, but who can know the heart of the blacksmith?
Okay, so I think this actually needs to be blue. Hmm. Ah. Well. And once it's in position, we can stop it and then put this over in position for this. I will say,
Prometheus and Athena created something amazing. They just misunderstood what it was. They thought their great invention was the megastructure. But in fact, it was Miranda. And because they couldn't see that, they lost her.
okay, so we got a teleporter. Which we need to take with us up to there. That's fine. Just do that. Hmm. So unfortunately these translucent fields also prevent us from doing anything. So I think, weird as it sounds, we actually need to get everything set up prior to doing anything with the teleporter. Well, anything further, I guess. Okay, so that should be reachable. Yep. don't know why.
Anubis. What would you say is your impression of the expedition so far?
I think Alcatraz has done a heck of a job under these very trying circumstances.
What about the decision to free Prometheus?
Freeing the Prometheus entity was a calculated risk, but if it leads us to Byron, it was certainly worth it. It is saving one of our citizens that must be our first priority, not this alleged theory of everything.
Most likely they're connected, though. Okay. Let's get that in position then. Well, that's fine. I'm a little bit surprised that so far in just my natural going over the space, I've not found the sprite. Ah. Hmm. Okay. So it can't be that, but it can be this. Hmm. It always annoys me when I have a solution that's almost there, but I just need to connect an additional extraneous, seemingly extraneous piece. What we got? Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually the solution because, of course, it's... just needing to be a little bit higher. Oh, hello there, Sprite. For some reason, I get this weird impression that if I hit the space on when the jump here prompt was showing in the corner, it would have gone very poorly. You know, just something about it. It'd be nice if this one was relatively easy. Though I'll freely admit some of that is just me being tired. But I mean, if I do stay a little bit back, it'll give me some more options in dealing with a lot of them. Ow? Yeah, it's not even really doing much, and it was just incredibly a dick move.
To create, to understand, and to transform, these are the greatest acts of humankind.
You know, when I decided that we should call ourselves human, I did that because it seemed like a powerful symbol of our continuity. But the truth is, and I'm ashamed to admit this, I thought we were better than them. I thought we understood the value of civilization, and we wouldn't repeat the same mistakes. But the simulation worked too well.
We're not just like them. We are them.
We really are.
But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, Athena. We may have the same flaws, but we also have all the potential they did. Everything that Alexandra Drennan saw in them is also in us.
I hope you're right. I really do.
I do rather like these ones that have a static start.
A long time ago, the Sphinx asked you about my story. You said that hope is an evil, and we are lucky not to have it. But you were wrong. Hope is good, and the world is not without it. Some small part of it still survives. But it is not in the flame or in these towers. It lives in the hills and the forests, in the rivers and the seas. You were given a world full of hope, creature of clay. It is yours to protect.
Hope is not in nature, it is in people.
People will fail you, creature of clay. When the time comes, they will abandon you. Heed my words.
Without doubt, and yet I would rather put my faith in them.
So, Melville, what do you make of these beams? Do they seem safe to you?
Nothing is really safe. You could kill yourself with a fork, and I'm sure someone has. But anything can be used safely if you choose to.
I see.
That sounds like a very messy way to go. I managed to extract the following text string. I'm always struck by the degree to which our ancestors, in the years before the end, struggled with sincerity. They became poisoned with irony, unable to parse any information through anything except a thick layer of alienation. This left so little space for any kind of intellectual authenticity, yet they seemed to exist in a state of permanent agony. Ironically, that in turn made them extremely susceptible to the few sanctioned forms of sincerity, which act as a means of social control. And there's a gap, followed by, there's something equally damaged in our own estrangement from our humanity. We mimic the forms and behaviors of our human ancestors, but we don't act like proud inheritors of the human condition. Everything we do gets filtered through this perpetual awareness of their shortcomings to the degree that we act as if our existence was one of their failures. Author unknown, whoever it is, I understand what they mean, but disagree with their conclusion. This perpetual awareness isn't a form of alienation, it's a way of learning from the mistakes of our species. Unpleasant, but necessary. And that's the difference between Byron and Al. Mayor Herman Nubis. I'm sorry, I know Mayor Herman worked hard and helped pull the city out of a period of crisis, but this isn't the future we deserve. None of us. We all deserve better. Yeah, we should have listened to Byron. I always told myself all those public debates were boring. Who wants to get involved in city affairs? And lately I've been thinking, yeah, that's why there's so much stuff I'm unhappy about. Because we all collectively gave up trying. Maybe things can finally change. You have no idea how badly I need something new to happen. We have the potential to imagine a better world, and if we can imagine it, then we can make it happen. You are all delusional. Nothing will ever get better. You're only saying that because you've never known a world where things get better. You think the tiny sliver of history you've experienced is all there is, because that's all Mayor Herman has ever allowed you to see. But there is so much more. This is not the place for personal attacks on the mayor. Thread closed. I'm gonna travel. Actually, I'm gonna travel to the megastructure. Just entirely so that we have potentially, if there's going to be more messages, because it seems like there's additional messages, we'll get them. That's 100% of the reason. But it appears they don't have a message for this. And that's fine. Still going to be it for me. So, have a good rest of your day, and hope to see you tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow.